By the time this video airs, the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards ceremony have already taken place. Here are my thoughts coming up on Let's Talk About It. Hey people, welcome to another edition of Let's Talk About It. This past weekend was the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards ceremony. And I must say, it was pretty good this year. Better than past years for a number of reasons. Number one, even though we are in a time of COVID and social distancing, they really made it feel non-virtual. First of all, if anybody's ever seen the Golden Globes Awards, where it's more of a sit-down ceremony, more intimate sit-down ceremony, I think the members of the association took a page out of that book, because when I watched it, you had people sitting down at individual tables, and the performances were held in another part of the location, which didn't seem virtual at all. As a matter of fact, most of the performances were seemed intimate. The highlights for me were her. Her is a phenomenal talent, and I keep telling people this, and maybe now people will listen. She won for Song of the Year for I Can't Breathe, the tribute to George Floyd, written in 2020, and it came out during the time of all the violence and all the protests for, due to his death. Very, very good song, well written, well produced. If you haven't heard it, I suggest you stream it and listen to the words. It's called I Can't Breathe. And she also won for, I believe, Best R&B Performance for another song called Better Than I Imagined. The main artist on that song was a gentleman named Robert Glasper. He's a jazz artist, and her, and Michelle Ndegeocello all collaborated on the song, and it's a really, really good jazzy feel of a song. Those are my highlights. Of course, there were people that I still can't understand why they won. One of them, Taylor Swift. She won for Record of the Year for her album. And while I'm not here to disparage anybody, I still don't understand the meaning of Taylor Swift. But then again, people get on me for liking Billie Eilish. I happen to like Billie Eilish because, to me, she's a breath of fresh air. Yeah, sometimes people can't understand what she's saying in her songs because her vocals are very monotone and subliminal. But can the same thing be said about Janet Jackson? Janet, I love you, but I need subtitles and closed caption to understand what you're saying. The other thing that I noticed about the ceremony was that it was more inclusive. A lot of women won, and a lot of brown people won this year, as opposed to past years. And it begs me to ask the question, it begs me to wonder, are the Grammy officials finally listening? I know that a couple of new additions to the voting committee have been added. One of them is James Mason Jr. And he said a couple of nights ago that the Grammy Association committee, if you will, is trying to be more inclusive, to include more Black and brown people. And I was having a Facebook conversation this morning, And somebody raised the question, you know, it's funny. When Prince was alive, they found it hard to believe that he never won a Grammy. And I pointed out that one of the reasons why he probably never won a Grammy is because at the time, the Grammy committee, the members of the Grammy committee were too prudish. And let's face it, Prince ain't for everybody. Ain't for everybody at all. So it's funny to me how differently people are looked at after they've passed than in the present. Prince being one of them. Now Prince is being seen as a genius. I've known that all along. The man was a genius. You know, so was Michael Jackson. But like I said, he wasn't for everybody because he did some risque things. And we all know that. Anybody who's ever seen Prince in concert know exactly what I'm talking about. But aside from that, the Grammy Awards last night were one of the best ceremonies I've seen. Beyonce won, as usual, and a lot of people believe that she wasn't deserving of all of these wins. But I look at it this way. In an industry where it's so scarce with talent, and all we have to go on is WAP, Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, who also won last night for her duet with Beyonce for, I believe, Best Rap Performance. When all we have is that, when someone like Beyonce or Billie Eilish comes along, people tend to gravitate towards that because they're tired of WAP. And I'm not saying that WAP doesn't deserve a place, but I doubt it that WAP will be playing 30 years from now as opposed to a Beyonce tune, you know, Listen or Irreplaceable, or If I Were a Girl. The same thing with Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish's music is timeless, and I think she's going to go far. As a matter of fact, I know she's going to go far along with her. An honorable mention should be made to Spinderella, who received a Lifetime Achievement Award last night, and it wasn't shown. But that's fine. At least we're being recognized. One last thing. The Weeknd. He snubbed the Grammys last night because his album wasn't nominated. What do you think about The Weeknd? What do you think about the ceremony as a whole? What do you think about the winners? Let me know down in the comments. As usual, if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next episode. Short Trini signing off. Peace.